You're watching Oilers Nation every day with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
Top 6, Jeff Skinner. Over under 8 shifts until he's moved off that line. Let's get into it with the lead. I actually have a better question for Liam, but first, welcome into Oilers Nation every day, live from the Sports Closet studio. Check them out online at sportscloset.ca. Why did I say that so somber? I'm not sure. It's a little gloomy outside here in Edmonton. Weird day. We're back in winter 2.0. We got hit with fake spring there.
Well, there was a crazy and quite disappointing tweet from meteorologist Josh Clausen from CTV.
Mm-hmm.
Let me read that out for you all.
Yeah, let's dig into this a little bit more, Liam.
10:21 a.m. March 12th, 2025. Snowfall warnings just issued for Edmonton and surrounding areas. Important note, the heavy snow is tomorrow/Thursday. We may see some flurries later today, but 10 to 20 centimeters of snow is due tomorrow, being Thursday. That sucks. -15 on Saturday. Perfect curling weather.
More on that in a little bit. Okay. The show's a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. At Bet365. We're going to get to your comments throughout the show today. I see you're all dropping in a few. Chaos guys announced they're headed out west today. I'll have more on that in just a second as well. K-Waddy, anyone can be wrong 50% of the time. Like meteorologists. No meteorologist hate from me. I fear what Josh Clausen could do. He's got pull in the city.
I'm a big fan of Josh. He's arguably a legend in this city.
I wouldn't even say arguably.
I know, probably not. He is just a legend.
He's
in
the
this
GOAT.
city.
TV grad?
Of course.
I think so.
Who isn't?
Shout out. Everybody in this room is.
Go Ooks, go.
Go Ooks, go. Okay, let's get into a few things. First off, John Goyens is going to swing by in a little bit. You may remember him from the coach's room on Daily Faceoff Live, or as the former QMJHL head coach. He's also been on this show before.
Yes.
So we sent him to the film room. He broke down a bunch of stuff. If you watch DFO Live today, he did some of it there, but he actually went a little bit deeper for us to get into the Oilers, and we're going to talk a little bit about their power play as well with John. So we're going to get into that in a little bit, but first, let's start. I mean, it was the lead today, so our lineup report for Oodle Noodle ties right into it. 15 locations in the Edmonton area. I am a Tokyo glazed double beef with 2 green onion cakes on the side kind of guy. What's your order? Let us know.
2 green onion cakes.
Because then you get full off the green onion cakes and you have leftovers. It's very simple math, Liam. Shout out to Oodle Noodle. 10% of all Tokyo glazed boxes this quarter as well going to Sports Central, so they are always helping out the community. The Oilers have new lines at practice today. Jeff Skinner is in the top 6. The Bob Father sending it out. Nuge, McDavid, Hyman is line number 1. They stay together. Skinner, Draisaitl, Arvidsson, Podkolzin, Henrique, Brown, Kapanen, centers Jones, and Perry. There is honestly only one thing I would change about this forward lineup. I would swap Henrique and Nuge, but still, I like this. The big story is obviously Jeff Skinner being in the top 6, Liam. Let me ask you this. What has a better chance of happening? Jeff Skinner finishes the game there, or I win my roll up the rim?
I would hope you roll up the rim. It's been too long.
I would argue it's been too long since Jeff Skinner got an honest shot in the top 6.
Yeah, when was the last time? I looked up the numbers between those 3 players this season.
Okay.
So they have 48 minutes and 33 seconds of time on ice together. How many goals do you think they've scored as a trio?
The top line?
Sorry, Draisaitl, Skinner, and Arvidsson.
How many minutes?
48-33. Take some guesses in the chat, too.
48-33. I'm going to say they've scored once.
Okay. Anyone, Aaron, any guesses?
3.
3
goals.
Reese, throw up a number for me. What are you thinking over there?
4.
Whoa, on mic debut for Reese, just like that.
Who the fuck signed off on that?
Yeah, that was not part of the internship. It's 0.
Okay, that really sucks.
The answer is 0.
I overshot at 1. Are you kidding me?
They've been on the ice for only 1 against, but they have outshot their opponents. However, Draisaitl and Skinner without Arvidsson have outscored their opponents 3-2, but have been outshot 30-34.
That's close.
Do with that information whatever you want, but it is interesting that this is obviously a trio that we all kind of want to see for a while, and Hopefully they can get a bit of runway, but yeah, no goals together at 5-5.
Well, and that's my biggest thing. Is just like, please, 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 please give them
Yeah,
runway.
totally.
If the Oilers, who are we playing Thursday? The Devils?
Devils.
So if you go down 2-0 to the Devils through the first period, just don't break it up. Like we've seen against Buffalo, you went nuclear. Guess what? Didn't work. You didn't come back. Anaheim went nuclear. Guess what? You got smoked. The nuclear option can work, but maybe it's time to find out if not going nuclear can work.
Yeah, that is something the others have not tested that
But like,
often.
right,
That's right.
you
yeah.
can sit there, and I know Dan had this point on Oilers Nation Radio the other day. Shout out to Dan. Shout out to Oilers Nation Radio, and we had West Side Shane kind of agree with it too. Like, you can sit there and be like, well, it's their best chance of coming back. And I'd sit there and go, is it? Because we don't know if the other option works because we just never see it.
Yeah, you obviously only see it when things are going well. So, yeah, I would like to see them. Like, Knobloch's been in this experimental phase for a while now. Not so much on the lines recently. That seems to be somewhat consistent when the game starts and then he goes to it. But it's like, give it a go. See what happens. Just change it. Maybe change up the wingers during the game or something like that for McDavid and Draisaitl. And, like, don't get me wrong, I still want to see them after power plays and TV timeouts and stuff like that. Like, those guys need to play together during games at 5-5. They are obviously the Oilers' best options statistically to score goals, and they can't go away from that. But you do need to show a bit of belief in other players. And I wonder when Frederick and Kane eventually make their way back to the lineup, like, if that does change too.
Yeah, that's fair. Smith TM14 is in. Stable line combinations. And there is a part of me that wants to sit here and be like, they need consistency in the lines. But then I'm also sitting here, and I think a lot of other people are doing the same or having the same sort of internal struggle that I am, where I'm going, we need stable line combinations for this thing to work. You got to give guys runway, but then I'm also sitting there going, I want Nuge off the top line. And maybe it's not the same argument as like staple Draisaitl and Skinner together and see what they can do for 5 games, because it's been, close to 20 games of Nuge with McDavid this year, probably more if we were to go add it all up. But like, they've played together a ton, and it's clearly not working. So I would like to see Nuge changed, but I, at the same time, go, yes, stable line combinations. Give me Skinner and Draisaitl together for the next 5 games, and just see what they can do, which does bring me to the blue line as well. I thought Walman and Bouchard were fine last game. I do still think the best partner for Walman is Nurse, just because I think Walman's going to get the best out of Nurse.
I do too, but I think they're just kind of backed into a corner on that lineup right now.
A little bit, because like I'm trying to walk through live on the air right now. If you were to move Walman next to Nurse, then you got to move Kulak up to Bouchard, and then you're playing Stetcher and Walman both on their offsides. I guess that doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I agree. Isaac even says I'd rather have Walman and Nurse, but as I kind of thought it through, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do Walman and Nurse if you don't have Bouchard, or if you don't have Ekholm in the lineup and he's not on the trip.
I also think Stetcher had a decent game the other day against Buffalo.
I honestly want to see Cam Dineen again.
Yeah, he was all right. I think this is just the defensive pairings we're going to see until Ekholm gets back, and then that's when we'll see those pairings get up. Because you're right, Nurse and Walman the other day against Dallas, wasn't it? Yeah, they played really, really well. But as we heard and reported first on the show, Ekholm is not on the road trip, which is a good decision.
Rest him up.
Out of curiosity, I looked at best goals for percentage for the Oilers this season.
Yep.
Outside of like your odds ones here and there, the nuclear line is obviously the best. 22 goals for, 7 against at 5-5. That's close to a 76%. The next one, which is interesting, at 37 minutes and 31 seconds of time on ice, Arvidsson, Nugent Hopkins, and Vasily Podkolzin have outshot their opponents 18-4 and outscored them 3-1. I said it yesterday. I think that's a line I would actually like to see them go back to a little bit more consistently. I think that could be quite reliable for them, especially if like you do bump up Henrique, which I don't think we've seen at all this season.
We haven't, and that's, again, let's get into a few comments here. YouTube chat brought to you by Odd Company Brewing and the all-new Nation Beer Everyday Lager. You can get it at one of their 2 locations in Edmonton, Ritchie location, or downtown, or by going to Liquor Connect and just look up Nation Beer. It'll direct you to a liquor store near you that has it in stock. Someone, Deskra, Nuge cannot play center anymore. And then Deskra follows it up with, this was going to be my rebuttal, so we're on the same page, Deskra. Nor can Rico, for that matter. And, like, again, Nuge is struggling on that top line with McDavid. We know that is a fact. Is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins a great third-line center or a great option to play third-line center? I don't think so anymore. But Adam Henrique's not a great option right now either. So you have Henrique not really working as a 3C. You have Nuge not really working as a 3LW. If you swap them, sure, Nuge could potentially not work as a 3C either, but you might have some more upside in your top 6. So at least there's a path to one of those two problems being solved if you were to swap them. You can sit there again. Yes, you nailed it. Nuge is not a high-end 3C by any means, but he can at least do the job, and he's not going to sink, and he's not going to go -3 in a game or whatever. So Henrique's not giving you great third-line minutes. In the playoffs, we saw for 2 games before he got hurt, they went with Henrique on the top line. Although, if I do remember correctly, we basically didn't see that Henrique-McDavid combo all regular season or from the deadline on.
No, we didn't.
It was just like night one of the playoffs, Knobloch woke up and was like, son of a bitch, it sounds like a good idea to me.
I got
and then we saw
great
it.
ideas.
Yeah.
They've been on the ice together for 10. McDavid and Henrique have been on the ice together for 10 minutes and 49 seconds this season. They have outscored their opponents 1-0. I also think Nuge can still play center.
He can.
Very well. Like, when you look through again, like, regular line mates, the only ones he struggled with when he's played center is Hyman and Skinner. Everyone else are, like, positive numbers across the board. Consistency. I think, too, like, the level of competition will help Nuge if he plays 3C. He's just reliable. He's just struggling to score right now, but I don't think he's, like, a liability.
And I think that's a good way to put it, because you're right, he's not a liability, but he's struggling to score. And if you're going to play next to Connor McDavid, not being a liability is great, but you need to have some offensive upside to your game. So Nuge this season, when he's been on the ice without Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. So I'm pretty sure we could say when you're not out there with Connor and Leon, you're playing center, right? Yeah. So Nuge has played 357 5v5 minutes as a centerman so far this season. The shots are 168 to 168. The goals are 13-13. The expected goals are 13.48 to 13.76. Like, he's basically a dead to nuts even player when he's not on the ice with McDavid and Draisaitl. I am now curious to see Adam Henrique's numbers, so I'm going to pull those up very quickly.
We'll wait. No, I'm kidding.
We'll wait. Okay, Henrique, 699 minutes away from McDavid and Draisaitl. Obviously, again, not surprising. He's barely played with either of them. They've outscored the opposition 23-21, expected goals for 47%, shots in that time 49%. So the goals are a little bit better, like a hair better, but the shot metrics are basically the same. So this, again, goes back to exactly what I said. The numbers back up my point. If you put Henrique on the top line, there's upside there. You don't know what you have. There's a idea of discovering something, and you want to get some answers before playoffs, and it's not like you're going to get any sort of a drop-off away from with your third line by going from Henrique to Nuge. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Someone dropped in a question earlier. Tyler, have you softened? Oh, it's from D. White. Has your Bouchard contract extension number changed yet? You still think he's worth $9 million by 8 years? Yeah, I mean, I think there's a chance they get him done for less than that. But if I get to, I wouldn't even call it July 1st because I don't want it to go that far. If I get to June 30th and Evan Bouchard is sitting there saying, I'm going to hold out, I'm not signing for anything less than 8 by 9, I still wouldn't have a problem with giving Evan Bouchard $9 million. Like, you got to look around the league and look at what other high-end premier offensive defensemen get paid. That's what he is. And listen, has he been plagued by turnovers this year? Has he been playing his best hockey? No.
But who has?
Well, who has, first off? Like, I don't think there's been nearly enough spoken about just how much Mattias Ekholm has cratered him this year. Mattias Ekholm has taken a significant step back.
Yeah.
And it's hurting Evan Bouchard. And I think you can go back and watch a handful of giveaways and plays where you don't like what Bouchard's doing with the puck. And who throws the puck into his skates 10 seconds earlier? It's Mattias Ekholm. Who's the one who doesn't get back to retrieve something quick enough? So now everyone's scrambling and the forecheck's on you. It's Ekholm. So people love jumping through hoops to defend Mattias Ekholm, and I get that. I love Mattias Ekholm. He's a great Oiler. He's embraced the city. Fantastic. I hope he signs another contract here and is an Oiler for, into his late 30s, because I think, again, positionally, all that, I think he could grow into a third pairing role really well. but people love jumping through hoops to defend Ekholm. It's always, is he sick? Is he hurt? What do we know? And like, yes, again, granted, he's battled an illness. I know that. But people almost like doing this with the Oilers' star players too. When McDavid's struggling, what is it? It's like, well, he's sick or he's hurt, right? When Nuge struggles, it's like he sucks ass. And like, how come no one ever? Like, you pick and choose who you want the mistakes with. And for Bouch, I have no problem going 8x9 because if he would have had an unbelievable season this year, you would have been looking at $10 to $11 million to get that guy signed long term. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to bet on a guy who I've drafted and developed in Evan Bouchard that he is going to bounce back. And also, he's going to continue to get better. I have no problem going 8x9 because guess what? By year 4 of that deal, year 5 of that deal, 6 of that deal, he's making 7% of the cap.
Yeah.
It's nothing. That's the equivalent to signing a guy right now. What's 7% of $88 million? That's like a, oh God, Tyler, why'd you do this to yourself? That's like a $6 million defenseman right now. 6.3? I think it's 6.3. I'm not great at math, but I think it's 6.3. I have the stones to do it, though. That's all that matters. Keep swinging.
Yeah.
But like, do you agree that Evan Bouchard right now is a $6 to $7 million defenseman? Absolutely. So sign him long term and bank on a bounce back so that when he's back to being a $10 or $11 million defenseman, which he was last season, that's what his value was last season. Sign him for 8x9. Few years from now, you're reaping the benefits of having a bargain. And listen, I understand what people are saying. Like, don't pay him coming off a bad year. He's not worth that much money right now, and all of that stuff. You were probably the same people who were sitting there going, you know, when Darnell Nurse was up for his first contract and then his second contract, you were probably sitting there going, whoa, you can't give that guy $6 million right now. You can't give him $6 million right now. Then what happened? He exploded in the contract year. You had to pay him, and then he became overpaid. Like, you have to take a risk if you want value contracts down the line.
You really do. And I think Bouchard's the type of player you have to be willing to take the risk on. I think when you look at his analytics too at 5-on-5, you'd be surprised, especially in like post 60, like how he's like top 5 in basically every category. Most he's actually first. So he's not been awesome this year, but I think too when you look back and you go through those goals, and don't get me wrong, there's been some absolute blunders. But Bouchard's making probably 3 great plays a game to counter out his one mistake. Yeah. And like you would like that obviously to be cleaned up and not so like clear and abrupt and like end up in the back of your net. But like I do think the upside with him is way too good to be like, well, we'll give you a bridge deal, Evan, for 2 years at $5 million per year, because he might accept it, and then you walk him to free agency, no? Close.
Yeah, he's getting close. I can double check on Puckpedia when he's UFA.
Whenever that would come up, he's probably going to be like, hey, like you bridged me twice and then refused to pay me my money.
He has 2 more years of RFA eligibility. So like, could you give him a 3-year bridge deal? Sure. It's probably going to cost you $6 to $7 million. Just pay the extra. And Ryan S. says if he doesn't improve, it's a risk. Okay, but like, I think we can all agree that this Evan Bouchard this year is floor. This is his floor.
Yeah.
I don't think he's capable of playing, like, from his skill level. I don't think he's capable of having a worse year than he's having right now. And he is still dynamite offensively. And again, he's going to bounce back. Also, how many times have we done it in the city where it's like, oh, this guy was a ghost in the playoffs. This guy was a ghost in the playoffs. Evan Bouchard's been the best defenseman in the Stanley Cup playoffs back-to-back seasons.
Yeah.
Pay him.
Yeah.
Deskra, Leon was a risk too. How many people roasted Chiarelli for signing that Draisaitl contract? It was like, he's only done it for 1 playoff, and then he became an absolute value for 6 seasons.
Yeah. Some players are worth a risk, and Bouchard's one of them, and I wouldn't trade him for the world. And maybe a bit of the world. Listen,
this is not maybe going to be a popular take, and this might sound dumb. I think sometimes teams get themselves into trouble when they fall in love with intangibles.
Yeah.
The guys I take risks for are talent. I bet on talent every single day of the week. And you can sit there and go, you know, like Janmark, oh, we love his effort, all this. And granted, that's a low risk. But like, he is a 4th line player in year 1 of a 3-year contract. And he's getting health bombed.
He's got a 10-team no-trade list.
And he's got a fucking 10-team no-trade list, which is bananas.
I want to know who's on that list. Winnipeg?
Yeah, like, where is Janmark? I don't know. Whatever.
I think they would say no.
Yeah. The rest of the league has a no Janmark list. Is John Goins here? He is. All right, let's get to the Star Mechanical Guest Line, Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. You can find out more by visiting them online at starmechanical.ca. Residential, commercial, 24/7 emergency service. They do it all. They do it well, and they've been doing it in the Edmonton area for more than 2 decades. One of the city's largest locally owned and operated companies, starmechanical.ca. Former QMJHL head coach John Goyens joins us on the program, popping in for a little impromptu edition of the Coach's Room. What's up, John Goyens? How you doing?
I'm good. A little break in between shows to get ready for the Laval Rocket and Bridgeport Islanders game tonight in Laval. As per Islanders' way of doing things, we won't get a lineup until about 20 minutes before puck drop. So my prep is a little lighter than normal.
The Lou Lamoriello system runs all the way down to the American Hockey League, hey?
Yep, absolutely.
That's good. Let's talk a little Edmonton Oilers here. You were on TFO Live earlier today. Thought you pulled up some really good clips, so wanted to bring it to our Oilers Nation audience as well. So there's kind of 3 key areas we wanted to hit on here. The first one is scoring away from 97 and 29. Depth scoring has been a problem in Edmonton for a very, very long time, and this year is no different. Coming into the season, it was like, okay, they got a full season of Adam Henrique, and Arvidsson's in the mix. They signed Jeff Skinner. All these guys, Connor Brown, it was like there's no way he has another bad offensive season. He should bounce back, yet they're not scoring. So what's going on there?
Well, part of it, and I talked about it earlier in the earlier show, is not only are they not scoring, we heard what Chris, I had to go to your quote. You guys put the quote from Chris Knobloch on your social media feeds was, you got a lot of guys that aren't contributing to offense, but they're contributing to the other team's offense. And that is a major frustration for any coach at any level. It means that game fundamentals aren't being followed. You know, the sense of the game, the sense of the clock, the sense of situations, who's on the ice against you, all that type of stuff is not either innate or doesn't have a certain sense of urgency. And what's going on is they're creating. Don't get me wrong. They are creating. Their expected goals are still top tier, and that cannot just fall on 2 players alone. But they can't execute. They just can't execute. They've got 15 goals at 5-on-5. It's actually 15, not 20. It's 15 at 5-on-5, and they're 20th in the league. It's a minus 13 at 5-on-5. You know, you look across the board, you can't just rely on your power play. And the other issue with their power play, which I know we're going to tackle a little later, is you are 31st in power play opportunities per game. 31st. And that's an issue all year. So if you're relying on your 2 power play, your average of 2 power plays per game, you could quite easily be shit out of luck. But at the end of the day, it's like there's 3-4 guys that are putting the puck in the net. The rest of them can't hit water if they fell out of a boat.
Well, let's roll the tape then, AB. Take us through some of these clips here and how much of this is bad luck, how much of it is like a skill problem.
Oh, these are the power play clips, guys.
Oh, sorry, these are power. Can we do the 5v5 clips? Oh, okay. Then we will get on that in a little bit. Let's do the power play.
Let's tackle power play.
Yeah, let's roll the power play clips, because here's my thing with the power play, John. Is it one-dimensional is my question.
Well, I mean, it is the only power play that runs the way it does, with a lot of movement and stuff. So you can't ever say it's just a 1-3-1 or spread. What, you kind of opened my eyes to is that, look at this. Like, this is a hope shot. Like, that's a hope shot for Draisaitl to shoot from there. I mean, he's elite. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, top 1%. But you're seeing a lot of, like, there, McDavid had Bouchard wide open. Just a simple pass. So at times, the simplicity isn't being followed. So here, you don't have the pass. Watch this forced backhand pass. You've got Wallman wide open on the point, right? Like, so this frustration, I picked on the Buffalo game because you can't be losing to Buffalo at this time of year, is a lot of forced plays. And here, this was a longer sequence where don't confuse activity for productivity, right? There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of pucks going around, this, that, and the next thing. And it looks great at times. But the efficiency at the end of the day is, can you get it to the slot? Can you create from the slot? And can you put that puck over the goal line? And I mean, how many stick handles did we see? How many forced passes did we see? So it's you're for all the abilities that they have. And don't get me wrong, they're 7 for 18 coming out of the break. They're 3rd in the league. But when you're going to play certain teams like a Buffalo, and there's timing of goals, I've always judged good power plays as also when they score. You score in a 7-1 game, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care, right? Like, you're scoring the 6th, 7th goal. And in fact, they're 7 out of 18, but one of their power play goals is in an empty netter, as we know, right? So we got to be careful with the numbers. I always look at, can your power play be key in a game? Can it tie a game late? Can it win you a game? Can it set the tone early on and put a team on its heels? And right now, like I said, don't mistake activity for productivity.
Do you think there could be anything, and I'm putting you on the spot a little bit with this, but this power play unit has been together for, 2-3 seasons now. And if you swap Bouchard for Barrie, that group of 4 forwards has been together for 4 seasons now. And at one point they were historically good, and now they're just good. Do you think there's something to, maybe they got to change up the personnel a little bit just to snap guys out of their routines a little bit?
Well, to the fact that you're adding Jake Wallman, who was a huge help to Detroit's power play, which struggled for years and years and years, and they were able to move on from him and go to a Shane Gostisbehere. And that power play for the last 2 years has been really strong. I think what they could do is maybe a little less body movement and more puck movement, a little bit more, try to look like the others around the league for a bit, and then create, versus the constant 4 or 5 guys moving, and really, well, actually it's always 3 guys really moving, and the 2 guys that are basically not moving are Bouchard and a Hyman. And if Hyman's not there, it's Perry in front of the net. But I think they need to implement a little bit more straight line approach before they start tweaking on the personnel. But if stuff doesn't start clicking soon, you're gonna have to give Wallman his reps.
Goaltending and defense has been a hot topic basically all season. Do you think a lot of this is coming down to bad goaltending or bad defense?
And we do have the clips, by the way. We got them sorted.
Yeah. So the defending part is they've been atrocious. And this was specifically post 4 Nations. They are near the bottom of the league, whether it be analytically or just, plain and simple black and white statistics or a simple eye test at defending the rush. But the other part is these first 3 clips. You need a save, guys. You need a save. Like, these pucks are like, here, a little trickler. Get your paddle on it and freeze the thing, right? Like, don't just give people freebies. And this wraparound was mind-boggling because he just stuck on the first post. He had nowhere to go. Hagel has nowhere to go. And now you look at defending the rush. 3-on-3. 1-on-4. This is not a dangerous shot. You need this covered up. And then Thompson's able to just skate down Main Street and tap that in. I highlighted Alex Tuch. Look how far he was. Right now, 3-on-3, no threat, but there's no gap control. Here comes Tuch. How does Tuch easily beat that many guys up ice? Bad line change, but nonetheless, you're going to survive. Why? 1-on-4. 1-on-4. How does this pass easily get to your slot? It's hockey 101. Defend from the inside out. Right now, you have 2 forwards, 1 D. Klingberg, deep. You can't have Savoie pinching in that situation, and Alex Killorn, just with his Harvard degree, can read the ice and just takes off. Are you going to really pinch on the best, savviest player probably in the league when he shoulder checks twice to give up an on-man rush? You got to be thinking better than that. You cannot be pinching that deep on Darnell Nurse. He's got to understand where everybody else is. Here, Darnell Nurse, pressure, outside dots unnecessarily. If he holds inside dots, he buys people time. After that, he's not sure which guy to go to, what to do. And then this is what Chris Knobloch's talking about. If you're not contributing offensively, you cannot fuel the other team's offense. And right there, just put it in deep. Just get it deep. We know Tampa's neutral zone forecheck is usually typically really good. Watch again, 3-3 games, 7:41 on the clock. It's a 1-2-2 by Philly. You skate right into a guy with no purpose of what you're going to do with the puck to say get it deep or play hard or protect the puck. You turn it over, and Ekholm has to get off the ice. If you don't, that's a lack of game fundamentals. Once again, you need to get that puck deep. You need to manage the game a lot better.
So someone just commented and said, so is this a coaching problem then? And I don't see it that way. Like, is this not just an effort and like attention to detail problem?
100%. Because I have the opportunity to cover, the Canadians the last couple of years, and we've seen what's happened with the Canadians. They had that long stretch from, say, early December into mid to late January, where they were exceptional. What do? People were like, they want to give all the credit to Martin St. Louis, and I don't want to take any of the credit away from Martin St. Louis, but the reality was the players played the game the way it was supposed to be played, right? Hockey, and I said this earlier in the day, was hockey's not rocket science. You don't have the puck. What you do next is hugely important. I reload and I get above the next threat. I get above the potential of giving up odd man rushes. I get pucks in deep. I understand the urgency to say, hey, you know what? I can't make a tape-to-tape pass. I can't carry the puck out of the zone. Sometimes just getting the puck out of your zone forces the other team to reload 3, 4, 5 guys, and you live to fight another day, but then your guys get to recover in a better defensive posture. You're not giving up and catching your own team going the wrong way and all that type of stuff. This, to me, is a player-by-player choice to not play the right way. This can't be on Chris Knobloch. I mean, he's identified it, and he's basically called them out.
And I guess it's just my hope for things getting better that these guys, and we got another comment here, guys are just dreaming of June right now. It was from Bring Cassian Home, and maybe that's a part of it. Maybe these guys are, after the run to the Cup final, bored with regular season hockey, and that's causing the lack of attention to detail.
It does happen, guys. It's we've seen it for many teams who have had deep runs, and they get, people start putting them on a pedestal and be like, they're going to be the next team that makes a long run or whatever. So what happens is it's not even an on-off switch. It's like a dimmer switch. All of a sudden, it's like the season starts, everybody's excited, and then they go dim, and they go dimmer, and they go dimmer, because they're like, oh, we're just waiting for spring to come along and just go put that switch all the way on and play for the playoffs and be excited again. And the thing is when you forget to do the work today and compete today, tomorrow doesn't come. Tomorrow doesn't happen for you. And you set yourself up to fail. It's hard to play the right way, 82 games. It can be boring. But the reality is, if you could do it for 70 games, you're that much more prepared for the playoffs.
Yeah, it's been way too long of this poor hockey from the Oilers. But where would you rank them in the West right now? They're obviously second in the Pacific, but they have fallen off big time, like we spoke about, since the Four Nations.
Do you still think they have the ability in them to be with those other elite teams that have loaded up at the deadline?
Well, as you guys know, I think the fact that Winnipeg, Dallas, Colorado have to face each other in the second round is a huge help. Let's call it the way it is, right? Like 2 out of those 3 teams are gone. They're gone. So is their path easier? LA's playing up and down, sometimes better, sometimes, Vegas, I think, is obviously a tougher task. I think they're comfortable in their spot. I don't think Calgary's coming along to bump them unless they really, if they keep playing at a 333 clip, then yeah, I give Calgary or someone else just on the cusp of making it an opportunity to bump them. But I think they've got a lot to prove against the LA Kings. I'm not going to lie. I think that's a team that has a willingness to defend really, really hard. And I think if they keep this shitty kind of hockey up, they could be one and done this year.
That is mildly frightening, and by mildly I mean wildly. Let me just wrap up with where we started on the 5-on-5 scoring, because one thing I'll say is, looking at Natural Stat Trick, 5-on-5 shooting percentage since February 1st, they are 27th in the league. And you can look at that 2 ways. You can be like, they are unlucky and pucks will start going in, or they have a skill problem. So Aaron, let's roll the clips, John. Go through some of these. How many of them are skill problems? How many of them are bad luck? These misses.
It's just, you got to be more precise. Like here, hold the puck a little longer, but now you got your rebound, you got a wide open net, and you hit the post. And you feel bad for a guy like Connor Brown, because at the end of the day, he plays the right way in a consistent basis. Here, a kick out with a middle drive, these types of deflections, typically you got to hit the net, but then even your wraparound, you can't get it on net. Now you get in on the forecheck. It's good hard work. and you get a wicked bounce. So part of it is also bad luck. But I mean, there's some lack of confidence because that's a prime opportunity here. 2-on-1, big clap bomb, and you hit him square in the blocker. The play's not quick enough. And lastly, you get here tons of space, and you don't even get a shot on net. And we're talking about Corey Perry, who, yes, he's on the back nine of his career, but nonetheless, he could still create. Here you roll into a 1-3-1, you create multiple 2-on-1 passes, and here again, you don't even get it on net. So you create your own luck. Sometimes there is a little bit of bad luck, but it just seems like there's an ounce or two where they're either squeezing the stick or they're just not confident in. Forget putting it in the net. Putting it in the net is putting it on the net.
Yeah, at that one clip where I think it was the Philly game or whatever, where Henrique, the deflection, then the miss on the wraparound. It's like when you look at that freeze frame for a second, it's basically a pass to send him in all alone in front. And I think that's just a guy who doesn't have the confidence right now. Like, you can stop that puck, make a move, pick a corner, do anything. Instead, it's like a rushed little shovel attempt at deflecting, and it just doesn't go anywhere. John, always appreciate the insight. This was really, really good. The chat loves you, so thanks for doing this.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
There you go. John Goins. You can find him on Twitter at Gourmet Hockey. He is also brought to you by Tim Hortons Canada. Your favorite contest is back. Roll Up to Win is back at Tim Hortons, and that means you can win millions of amazing prizes with just the swipe of a thumb. Imagine turning your routine Tim's run into an unforgettable vacation with Sell-Off Vacations, a $1,000 Rakuten cash prize, or an all-new, all-electric 2025 Volkswagen ID Buzz. Even the simple joy of winning a free coffee or donut can make anyone's day. Roll Up to Win is on until March 23rd. Rules apply. Canada only. No purchase necessary. Visit the Tim's app for more details. Are you ready?
Yeah.
If this is a winner, I will then go bet on Jeff Skinner to score tomorrow.
Okay. Here we go. He's rolling up the rim with his teeth. For whatever reason, he continues to do it with his teeth despite it not working for the
Different
7.
location today.
I went to a different location.
Same
Still
result.
a loss.
Damn. You know what hurts?
We're ice
The
cold.
truth.
Ice cold.
Yeah. That was not. John, good segment, but bad segment.
Yeah, what did someone say here? Sean H. Love the segment. Now I'm a little more depressed. I'm actually coming out of that. Can you run the 5v5 scoring clips again for me? Credit Sportsnet for the highlights. Some of these are like, there's no way these don't start going in. Like Connor Brown here. This one may be a bit of a skill issue. Like, hold on to that puck and you have a wide open net in like half a second. And then this is bad luck though. Like,
that one is unlucky.
that should go in. This next one blows my mind, how Adam Henrique doesn't have the awareness. Also, what was Carolina doing? I don't know. But, like, not taking advantage of the other team's mistakes is a problem. And that right there, like, Henrique could have stopped that puck down and done basically whatever the hell he wanted. Like, freeze it right here. Oh, my God. Like, how do you not have the awareness to stop that puck and, like, to try just a lazy little dainty deflection is crazy.
For me, and John said it towards the end, I don't even think it's an awareness thing. I think it's just pure confidence. And I think this team lacks it a lot with these guys. Like, look who these guys are clips of. Like, this one of Savoy is very unlucky. That puck was bouncing. It was nuts. But Brown and Henry, two guys who have struggled all year to score goals. Who's this one? Is that Ekholm?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a guy, again, not playing at his best. And there's just a bunch of them like this. And it's disappointing. And
that doesn't even hit the net.
That Sean Lorenz in the chat, he's being a bit of a dickwad, to be honest. But
do we want to kick him out?
No, whatever. He's stop calling people names. Oh, actually, yeah, kick him out.
Yeah, we should kick him out.
That guy sucks.
See you.
But he's right. Like, it's not going to be easy in the first round against the Kings like it has been in previous years, especially if the Oilers, they have 18 games, 17 games, whatever it is, to sort this out and get more detailed and just play regularly. Like, you look at that clip and against Washington with Nurse, where he just, for whatever reason, jumps on that guy on the boards and he's not a threat. And it's like, I think we didn't even need John to come on and tell us how bad that play was, because we could all see it. And it's like, Nurse, you're in whatever year of your NHL career, like, you should have been in that scenario thousands of times and you should know how to play it.
Yeah. Let's change up the vibes a little bit. Let's have a little bit of fun. Sherwood Ford Giant question for our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant. Shout out to Sherwood Ford and the Nation Valet service. Never visit the dealership again for your routine car maintenance. And if you say Nation Valet, you're not only going to get a sweet Oilers Nation prize pack, you're also going to be entered into one of our many weekly or monthly draws, sherwoodford.ca. Our boy Waz put out a great question on the Oilers Nation social media. It was this: if you could add any player to the Edmonton Oilers, a former Oiler, but only using the last 10 years as your window, who is one former Oiler from the past 10 years you would want to put on this team? Liam, if I gave you that magical answer, who would it be? I mean, the picture was put out was Mike Smith. Interesting, but he's not the goal. I would pick 2017 Cam Talbot as the goalie answer, without a doubt.
Was Vezina caliber. What was it, 928 that season or something like that? Yeah, he is the guy you come and take to put on this team. If I had to pick a different one, I went with 2016-2017 Patrick Maroon.
How many goals did he score that year?
He scored 27, 24 at 5-on-5. And that's why I took him. The others have obviously struggled to score at 5-on-5 with their depth. So I would take Patrick Maroon. Another one I thought about, and I'm not allowed to do this because he's technically on the team, 2021 Evander Kane.
Just getting a younger Evander Kane.
Just a motivated Evander Kane. And hey, like maybe we see it again. Because he obviously hasn't played for so long. People are saying Clefbaum, and we kind of talked about this before. Like, I don't think the Oilers need a defenseman.
Yeah,
like healthy. When they're healthy, they're pretty solid.
Yeah, like a month ago, I could have gotten on board with a Larson or Clefbaum pick, but now that you have Wallman and guys get healthy, I think the answer is finding a way to add more scoring. I will give an answer that people are going to laugh at, and I do not want this clipped because I'll get roasted on Twitter, but I'll say it for the audience.
David Downey.
No.
Tyretti.
No.
Dominic Kuhn.
No.
Damn it.
Vinny?
David.
I said David.
That's what you said.
Double down.
Okay. The Oilers right now are lacking a little bit of jam, a little bit of size, and you could always use a 20-goal scorer. I hated everything that followed this season, but 2016-17 Milan Lucic scored 23 goals.
Not bad. 11 at 5-on-5. It definitely gives you the vibe they needed before the deadline. You know, to go out and get a big guy, banger and crasher, someone who could bring guys into the battle.
He's not my pick, but he popped into my head as like, if you could get in his prime Milan Lucic, like, man.
In the last 10 years, like we're doing this experiment, Milan Lucic 2016-17 season is 31st in goals.
Wow.
In the last 10 years. Guys above him.
Yeah.
McDavid, Nuge, Kane, Eberle, Hall, Hyman, Maroon, Draisaitl.
Wow.
So what's that, 6, I think?
Someone said Taylor Hall. Yeah, I think, a prime way would have to be 15-16 Taylor Hall would certainly make a lot of sense in this thing. But my answer is 2017 Cam Talbot. Like, that's a 920 to 930 goaltender that you get to plop on here, and things look a lot different if you're getting 920 to 930 goaltending. Just ask the Washington Capitals.
The Oilers' power play during that time of Hall was very bad.
Yep.
I'm just looking at it. His best season was 2016. He had 26 goals, 22 at even strength. He had 65 points, 53 at even strength. He was...
What is Doug Way talking about?
Probably nonsense.
Why don't we get a prime Wayne Gretzky, Tyler? Such a dumb idea with Lucic.
Wayne Gretzky, open your damn ears.
We said in the last 10 years.
Unbelievable, Doug. Figure it out. Probably on a beach somewhere, like he's always bragging about.
My hierarchy goes Cam Talbot, Evander Kane, then probably just Adam Larson.
Kane's on the team.
No, but that version of Kane. That version. I get my first hat trick this season.
A healthy Ryan Whitney. That was longer than 10 years ago.
Yep. You guys are really bad at listening.
I said because I just off the top of my head, and I wanted a pure vibes, man.
Yeah.
2012 Ryan Jones.
Past 10 years, Liam.
I know. I didn't know at the time. I thought it. I can't believe it's been 10 years. God damn it. I said.
I guess Klim for vibes too. Then
Klim, good vibe guy.
Yeah, but also
Yamo, just that little pot.
Just that one goal against the LA Kings in the playoffs.
No. That 20 games.
Oh, yeah.
Kai, Dry, and Rye. Damn, that was awesome.
That was a lot of fun. All right, let's continue along. Let's do a little what's trending for our friends. We're going to do it for Service Credit Union, actually. So the Service Big Share contest is back and better than ever. you can get in by saving money with Service. It's that simple. You can win $1 million just by saving money. Every $500 saved gets you 5 entries into the Service Big Share Contest. Contest ends April 30th, 2025. Skill test required. For rules, visit service.ca/win. What's trending? Do we have the video of the guy fighting the San Jose Sharks mascot, or at least getting into a confrontation with him?
Of course, we have.
Can
that
we please?
video.
Let's play it.
Do you want the audio with it? No.
Honestly, I kind of want to watch it again with the audio.
Okay, here, give me a moment.
What a weird thing to do.
You pushed on my fucking chair.
So this is crazy. People were like, oh, the audio at the beginning. I know you can't hear it that well, but I did some digging and listened very closely. People were like, oh, he says at the beginning, you pushed my kid, right? And that's actually not what he says. He says something along the lines of, he pushed me out of my chair, which, buddy, that's kind of what mascots do.
Yeah,
They're
mascot.
rascals.
They'll get you.
So anyways, this dude at a Sharks Predators game in March, somehow getting into a fight with SJ Sharkey is just great. And you can tell the mascot's like, what? Whoa. Like,
I'm just a mascot.
yeah. And also, again, like the idea of there being a guy under there who's like, what is going on right now? Like,
Just laughing. We had a couple of super chats we didn't get to.
oh, we do have to get to a couple of super chats. Duran dropped one in.
Just click the arrow right above that. Fan funding.
Oh, look at that. That's sweet.
There you
Duran
go.
is in. I think I figured it out. We lose because we don't take that one extra stride. It's the difference between chasing and dictating play. For Ben, $6.99 to the Ben Stelter Foundation. I was watching Boston, Florida last night, and there was a play, tie game 2-2. David Pasternak has the puck at the blue line, chipped it into the corner, and then took like 6 or 7 hard strides, went, hammered the defenseman on Florida, created a turnover. And I was sitting there, and I was like, when was the last time you saw an Oilers star do that? Just like chip it in and then go hammer a dude on the forecheck.
Yeah, star.
Doesn't happen.
Max Jones, is he a star?
Yes. Simon is in, $6.99. Thank you, Simon. Should Edmonton go for Decord in the offseason if goaltending continues to be an issue? Would cost a lot, but I like him better than Gibson. I just don't see a world in which Seattle trades him.
Just signed a new contract.
Yeah, like they just got him signed to an extension. Joey Decord has a 12-team no-trade list that kicks in. Like, I like the 5x5 contract they gave him. I think Joey Decord is a good goalie, but I highly, highly, highly doubt that they end up trading Joey Decord. So I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. Again, if this season falls apart because of goaltending, I'm talking playoffs here. If the playoff run falls apart because of goaltending, like they will do something about it in the summer. But again, I think we just got to wait and see how things play out. Simple as that. Back to what's trending. We're both big golf guys.
I love golf.
Is tonight you don't have indoor tonight, right? Because it's Saturday.
Final Saturday.
Yeah.
My friend Greg,
The egg.
he's second. He made his makeup round yesterday. He's now 9 strokes closer to me. I'm ahead by 9. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of my friends don't want me to win
Because you're a high handicap player.
because I'm a high handicap player. But what needs to be considered in all of this is, I was dead last in this league for like half the season. And I got better. My handicap to start the year was 34. I am now 20. But that is
like significant.
Yeah, like I'm trying my best out here. And a lot of them, the guys who lower handicaps, and I get it. Grow up.
Message sent. If you didn't see this, the 6th hole at TPC Sawgrass, the tee shot, this is how it's evolved over the years. Look at that window you have to hit it through. That is actually crazy.
Is that the same hole?
It's the same hole over the last few years. They've moved the tee box back as well. So they moved the tee box back to like bring that tree more into play, I think. And then they've also, again, trees may be grown. I don't know, but that is wild. Can you imagine having to hit that tee shot? Your only option is like a low stinger with your driver to get through that window.
I might get my putter out.
Just a little Texas wedge.
Fire it through the gap. You know, I'm a hybrid man, though. So I think I could keep it low and through that gap.
Yeah, you're not a big driver guy.
I'd be way more worried about the people that are right in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Someone
come
would
on.
die. That's fair.
Yeah, I'm a slicer.
Yeah. Other thing in what's trending, the drama with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and his contract will not go away. I read a whole Ken Rosenthal article yesterday. Buster Olney tweeted today, the present day value of what Vlad wanted was about $35 million a year. The Jays signed George Springer 5 years ago at age 31 for a $25 million AAV and offered Soto close to $50 million. The math does not make sense there. He also said the Blue Jays and Guerrero were about $50 million apart in a deal that would have encompassed 14 seasons when talks broke down. That's about $3.5 million a year. So there is also the talk that the Jays offered Vladimir Guerrero Jr. $500 million. I am always pretty quick to judge the Jays front office here, but Vladdy comes out and is like, I want to be a Blue Jay for life. All I care about is being a Blue Jay for life. He also comes out and goes, I don't want to be a distraction this year, which is why I'm not gonna do the extension talk into the season, and I'm giving a hard deadline. He's doing a really bad job of not being a distraction by leaking every single detail of this negotiation to the media. He's also on Instagram liking pictures of himself photoshopped into a Yankees jersey. And also, if you really wanted to be a Jay for the rest of your life,
Go to sign the deal.
$500 million is a lot of money. Like, how much more money do you need? And I know it's sports negotiations, and if you start following that logic, everything else starts to fall apart. But, like, the Jays offering you $500 million over 14 years, it's U.S. dollars, Lance. $500 million U.S. dollars. So, again, think about that from the Jays' perspective, too. That's like a $750 million Canadian contract offer. Crazy. But, like, $500 million over 14 years, man. If you want to be a Jay for the rest of your life, they're giving you $500 million to do it. It's crazy.
How many zeros are in 500 million?
500, and then 6 more zeros on the end of it.
2, 3,
8
4,
zeros.
5, 6, 7, 8. I was looking it up in Dominican pesos. Isn't that where he's from?
Yeah.
And
Well, he's from Canada, but he is Dominican.
It's a lot.
how many zeros? And
I don't know.
There's no way Liam could tell you.
No, there's zero chance.
But $1 US is what, 62 pesos, it said?
yeah.
Dominican pesos? Yeah.
I got a sneaky suspicion he doesn't want to be a Blue Jay anymore,
Yeah, I'm starting to think that too.
which really sucks. But also, might have had that coming. The Blue Jays. They've not exactly been a great organization the last however long. Disappointing, to say the least.
Yeah. One other thing that is trending. Our friends at What Chaos, the announcement's official. Pete Blackburn, DJ Bean, and our boy Sean.
Sean.
We do like Sean. I'm excited for you to meet Sean, by the way.
Very
He's a
curious.
great guy.
producer lives matter.
Yeah. Oilers Nation, What Chaos, coming to Greta, March 27th, 2025. That is just a couple of weeks away. You can get your tickets at nationgear.ca. We're going to do a meet and mingle with Pete and DJ. So all you guys who love DJ Bean, you get a chance to come say what's up to him. It's going to be electric. And then What Chaos and pre-gaming live at 7 p.m. at Greta. Puck drop at 8. So March 27th, watch party. Tickets, $15, all presented by Fountain Tire. Oilers Nation, What Chaos, live at Greta. You will not want to miss it. You're going to hear us talking about it a ton over the next couple of weeks. I also need to tell you that this Friday is Flight Night at Greta. Still spots available, so go to nationgear.ca, get your tickets. They are all in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation, and you could be walking out of Greta on Friday, 2 days away, with a spot on the Nation vacation at the end of March. Pretty sweet.
A lot of good events coming up at Greta.
Yeah.
You can go look at all those games Tyler talked about and didn't play.
Yep.
Play the football game against him.
I can't wait to
Sean
see.
said he wants to play bubble hockey against everyone in the city, so that's exciting.
Giddy up.
I got the number.
Yep.
3,135 billion Dominican pesos.
All right.
Could buy all of it, I would assume.
Yeah,
all of
that's a
the
lot.
Dominican Republic.
Okay,
No
let's wrap up the show for our friends at Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime is a barn burner, every face-off, hat-trick, power play, shot on goal, and every suspenseful moment in between is amazing. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Download the Bet365 app today and use the promo code NATION to get in on the game. Okay, shoot me if you must. I am debating betting on the Calgary Flames tonight.
Roll the credits.
Sponsors off. Do what you need to do.
Why? No, it doesn't matter what you say.
First off, they're playing Vancouver, who we hate.
Well, just
I kind of want the Calgary Flames to get into the playoffs because I think it's funny.
I think it's funny too, but I would.
Dustin
never
Wolf
do
is
that.
incredible.
He should be the rookie of the year.
Could be. although my Macklin Celebrini future says otherwise.
Yes.
Flames and the under tonight is plus 201.
I mean, it's hard to argue.
Think of it more like betting against the Canucks.
I guess you could.
Think of it more like betting on the Flames to get a worse draft pick.
There's a lot of positives in this for
No,
us.
now you kind of got me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't do it. I don't even watch the Flames.
I'm not going to watch either. I'm just going to bet against them. Lance
Yeah.
dropped in $2. Calgary sucks.
Calgary does suck. I bet against
Got
them
you.
this week in our Safeway picks, too.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways.
Anyways.
Yeah, so that's a tough one for me. I don't think I can do it. Bolton Wanderers lost yesterday.
No.
Honestly, pretty disappointing. They were drawing going into the 90th minute. Shout out. Then Bristol Rovers striker Taylor Taylor scored 3-2 Bristol. So Bolton right around that playoff spot still. A bit disappointing, but figure it out.
All right. Liam and I got to go shoot some content at a curling rink.
Yep, that is exciting.
That content's going to be trending.
That will be trending.
Liam has never curled before,
Not since grade 10,
so we're gonna learn
9,
how.
which was many, many moons ago.
Yeah. Tomorrow, Thursday edition of the show, we don't have a regular guest on Thursdays, so we'll have to figure that out.
Game day, though. No
It is
J.
a Sherwood Ford Giant game day with no J.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody who tuned in today. Thank you for watching the show. Hit like, hit subscribe, all that fun stuff, and join us again tomorrow at noon Mountain Time. We'll see you then. Oil up.